Does it feel like your money vanishes before the month ends? Hi, welcome to Life's Little Fixes. Today we'll talk about budgeting for beginners in 7 simple steps. Let's dive in. Managing finances, budgeting, and money might seem intimidating, but they don't have to be. When faced with a big problem, break it into smaller steps. That's exactly what we'll do here. By the end of this guide, you'll feel more confident about budgeting, and confidence is the first step toward financial control. What is a budget? A budget is simply a plan for your money. Think of it like a recipe for a dish. You need to know the ingredients, which is your income in this case, and the steps to make the recipe, which is your expenses, to create something successful. A budget tracks your income, expenses, and financial goals over a specific period, usually a month. With this recipe, you'll know where your money is going and how to make adjustments to save or enjoy more. The concept of budgeting can get rather detailed, depending on what is being budgeted and how detailed you want to get, but not today. So why do so many people struggle with budgeting? It could be for several reasons, most of which are solvable, but the 3 most common reasons are knowledge, feeling overwhelmed, and time. The first reason, knowledge, they may not know how to budget yet, and that's okay. I hope to help you fix some of life's little problems, little fixes that can make a big difference. Another reason is that sometimes you just feel overwhelmed or are lacking enthusiasm, but you don't get to your goal by wishing for it or hoping for it, but by working for it. A paraphrased quote by Estee Lauder, the second largest cosmetics company in the world after L'Oreal, and you can be sure that even they started with one budget at a time. This can give you some financial breathing room, which can make a big difference. And the third most common reason people struggle with budgeting is time. Most don't have the time to budget. That's why I hope this video, in its simplified method, helps you to achieve one or all 3 of these, which are to save time, find the motivation, and gain knowledge. So let's get started. I'm going to break this down in 7 steps. These 7 steps are: choose your budget's time frame, decide how to create it, calculate your income, list your expenses, total your income and expenses, compare the total of your income to your total expenses, and finally make adjustments. That's it. Step 1. Choose your time frame. We'll start with a monthly budget. It's manageable and gives you a clearer short-term picture. Now that we've chosen a time frame, let's decide how to create your budget. Step 2. Decide how to create it. You can use pen and paper to create a simple layout with categories. Pen and paper is a tech-free option, and no need to wrestle with the printer or worry about magenta ink. Or you could use budget templates, which use pre-made printables, like the freebie provided below, or design your own with tools like Canva. This option offers more structure and would only involve the printer. And don't forget to compliment the printer on such a good job. Or you can use spreadsheets or apps. There are apps designed specifically for budgeting if you prefer digital tools. This option offers more of an automated system, because some apps do it for you. For you more tech-savvy people out there with very little free time, this might be an option to consider. Some apps are free, some are paid. I do suggest you do your research before committing to one. After choosing how you'll create your budget, let's move on to calculating your income. This is the beginning of the battle, but stand strong, we got this. Step 3. Calculate your income. Determine how much money you make in total each month. Include all sources like salaries, freelance work, or side hustles. For example, a full-time job earning $3,000 per month and a side hustle making $500 per month gives a total income of $3,500 a month. That was easy. Let's move on to calculating your expenses. A bit more tedious, but hang in there. You totally got this. Step 4. List your expenses. Track where your money is going by categorizing your expenses. Here are 8 common categories to include, but it doesn't have to be in this order, which are the following. The first category is housing, which includes things like rent or mortgage, property taxes, repairs, HOA fees or apartment fees, and any other housing-related fees not mentioned. The second are utilities, and that would include fees such as electricity, water, internet, phone, and any other expenses related to your house. The third is food, and some examples are groceries, dining out, and that takeout you ordered would go here too. The fourth is transportation, which includes examples like gas for your car, public transit, car payments, the subway or train, and other forms of transportation that gets you places. The fifth category is medical, and that could include insurance, prescriptions, doctor visits, and similar medical expenses like surgery and such. The sixth are debt payments, like credit card debts, loans, or any other debt you have. The seventh are savings, which could include emergency funds, investments, and similar. The eighth and final category are miscellaneous, which is more like the where does this go category. This includes things like entertainment, subscriptions, personal spending, basically the non-essentials or the things that don't fit into the other categories. You can also use the provided freebie to guide you in identifying all your expenses. Here's the list of expense categories. Pause the video to jot them down or screenshot it, or you could save this video to refer back to later. Now that expenses have been listed, the next part is easy. Time to add it up. Step 5. Total your income and expenses. Simply add up your income on one side and your expenses on the other. This will give you a snapshot of your financial balance, which will help in setting up the next step. We're nearing the finish line. Great progress so far. The next part is comparing your income to expenses. Step 6. Let's now compare the totals, your total income and total expenses. Here's where traffic lights come in. It will make sense in a second. Green light, under budget. That means your income is greater than expenses. Great job. Yellow light, balanced budget. Income equals expenses. Proceed with caution. Red light, over budget. Your expenses exceed income. Time to cut back. You're so close to the finish line. After all that, this last part will be easy. Next is time to make adjustments. Step 7. Let's make those adjustments. If you're in the red or yellow zone, review your expenses. Ask yourself these questions. Can I cut back on non-essentials like dining out or subscriptions? For example, instead of dining out so often, consider batch cooking for the week to save money. Are there ways to reduce utility bills or transportation costs? Some examples for reducing costs are use natural light during the day instead of electricity. Consider using the dishwasher and washing machine at night instead of the morning or during the day. You might be surprised to learn that for some parts of the world, certain hours of the day cost less to use electricity. Use the subway or buses when you need to go long distances, and walk the short distances to save costs. As an added bonus, this also gives you some exercise. Can I set aside more for savings or debt repayment? Consider setting aside a percentage of your income each month. Start small and save where you can. Every bit helps and adds up over time. So now you know the steps, but why should you stick to a budget? For several reasons, but ask yourself this. Why does budgeting matter? Budgeting isn't about restricting yourself. It's about understanding and controlling your finances. With a clear plan, you'll be able to reduce financial stress, be prepared for emergencies, and achieve your financial goals. Start small, take it step by step, and remember, you're in control. This method worked for me when I was starting out, and I believe it can work for you too. Don't just take my word for it. Give it a try and see the results for yourself. So to summarize, we've talked about what budgeting is and why some struggle with it. We've talked about the 7 steps, which are choose your budget's time frame, decide how to create it, calculate your income, list your expenses, total your income and expenses, compare the total of your income to your total expenses, and finally, make adjustments. And discussed why it matters, and those reasons are to reduce financial stress, be prepared for emergencies, and achieve your financial goals. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What's your first budgeting goal? Let me know in the comments. You may not see the results you want right away, depending on your situation, but over time you will look back and realize what you've accomplished. You can do this. I believe in you. Let's start the journey to financial freedom together. Ready to dive in? Grab the freebie linked below or jot down what's on screen. Let's make it happen.